Hi, it's Stud, and welcome to another video. And today is another part of how to engineer an Obby Creator. In this episode, I'm going to teach you how to make your machines more efficient and smaller. So in this example, I'm going to make a plane. And what we're going to make is a figure 8 circle. And the objective is to make a thing where you have to walk in certain directions in order to pass, the test. I mean, there isn't much of a test, but yeah, okay, this is gonna kind of look bad, but that's okay. Let's see where we can go with this. So, this is what I'm planning to make. Just something like, let's actually make this actually look a little bit nicer. Okay, great, I have no cash. I could just delete some of that. Don't really want it. So we're gonna add this tiny little small grid. And now we want to make a machine where we have to walk in a certain direction. So the example of this is how we have to walk like this, and then a door will open. Now you have to do it in a certain order. Now we have to fix two things. We have to make sure that someone can't go over and then go back. We also have to make sure that someone can't just, like literally just go back in the other direction and just go towards the door and jump over everything. You have to fix that. Okay, so let's first of all figure out a combination and how to do this. Now we could you can use this using fading parts, but we got lots of buttons, so we're gonna use buttons instead. We're gonna do like that, and we're gonna make these player activated. So light. Let's make it slightly transparent so we can see what we're doing. Oh yeah, I forgot there's data. Slippery is 10. I just want to see this quickly. I haven't done much with this. Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, anyway, now we got these buttons, and we gotta figure out the system, the logistics of this. So we're of course gonna have a button. We're of course gonna have a push block path with a bunch of gates and such. So we're gonna have a sort of a big one, and then we're gonna have a push block. Make it black so it's easier to see. Correct. And let's not make this too fast. Something like that. Make it a little bit small. So now we have to add a gate. Let's see what we can do. So how many is there gonna be? Let's see. So let's add a few of these. So let's fix these settings first. So let's make it do one. Invisible. Let's set timer just so we can see what's going on, and that's good enough. Now we gotta put these around and get this to work. Time lapse poggers. Yeah, I think so. Okay, we already got all the buttons placed, and here is immediately just one tip. You can reuse buttons by crossing them, and serving them as like doubles, So that's what we're gonna do. Instead of using all these buttons, we can use two of them. Now, you might be wondering, is this gonna arise problems in the future? Well, the thing is that these are across from each other, so they're not right next to each other. So whenever there's a code, you can't just, go back. It is necessary to, Now we cannot, unfortunately, do it for the three-way. So, yeah. We can only do one, then the last one has to be by itself. Which is kind of sad, but yeah, it's okay. So now we got that settled. We can do the next one. Now we need to figure out what order these are going in. Yeah, I don't feel right today, so let's put a bunch of these in. I want 6, for example. 6 is good. And then there's gonna be a button right here which activates a button, which is gonna be a push block, of course. Invisible. Let's do 50. Activate timer. Not collide. Now we got that. Now we have to set up the code. So let's say you enter from this direction. Let's first go there. Now we have to make sure that they just don't go back. So the easiest solution for this is just to make this really fast and make the timer for this like instant practically. So let's fix that. Now we got a 0.2. Might be, this might be a little iffy now, but it works perfectly. Okay, I've done a few things to make it a little bit better, like making these thin, so it actually works out. So now these are all really fast, so if you go back, it's definitely going to detect it. So how do we detect a double, a double one? Now you might be wondering, why don't I just use my design where it just falls down? Well, there's something called the button length limits, and unfortunately that won't be possible unless we use conveyors. Wait, actually, you can actually go around this. It's kind of being a little bad today. We can use conveyors which aren't visible. That could work. Now, of course, the person will never know, and it'll be hard to reset code afterwards, but it's gonna work anyway. Okay, now we got that. Now we can put a bunch of resets. Reset, yes, logic. Now, this is one of the advantages of having double ones, because you don't have to link like literally everything. So let's first, let's first make the code. So it's gonna be like this. And then, don't you guys hate like people who don't edit their videos? Cut out all the nonsense. Okay, now that we got all of this prepared to link everything, let's see where this goes. So of course this is just the code, not anything, not the other systems. So after we do that, so the door will be right there. As you can see, it works pretty well. I might put the door just because it would make sense, a little bit more sense. We're gonna put a bunch of things around it. Okay, so add a little more logic to this thing, so everything else makes sense. So let's add it. So let's add the knot thing. You might be realizing one thing. These are invisible. So how do you exactly make it so it's not invisible? Well, simple. You can just use a converter, which basically converts the signal into the opposites. There's a way to do this for both. But yeah, this is a simple way. Let's make this now. Now you might be already screaming, saying this is really inefficient, and yeah, it is. And that's what we're gonna learn a little later. That's why you need to learn about efficiency. It's very important. So as you can see, I cannot link several buttons to that, so I'm gonna have to make more. And you're probably already cringing already if you're an engineer, but I'm trying to demonstrate something like, now you're probably screaming at the top of your lungs like, why? And currently we have these 27 buttons. I'm gonna show you how you can reduce this to so much little.
So yeah, sorry, let's link this all now. Okay, even for demonstration purposes, this is absolutely disgusting. So let me just show what you should be doing. So you'll probably be like this. Oh god, this is so confusing. It isn't even going. And yeah, as you can see, this is not going very well. And yeah, this would technically sort of work, but not very well.
No.
So how do you make this more efficient? Well, let me tell you, you can make this so much more efficient, practically cutting the amount of buttons you'll have in half. So let's start with the basics. Let's first edit this part right here, and instead of having this giant line, we're gonna have a giant slope. Now having a slope is a lot faster, and it's a lot less, iffy, because conveyors have a constant speed, while slopes, you need to build up momentum on a slope. So let's make a slope. Now I like to make it out of a half cylinder, because then it'll have this little tiny cradle, and that will help the thing stay in place. So you want to do it like this. Kind of like that, yeah. And then you want to have a ball. And already this looks much better. So we're gonna do that like that. Brick. As you can see, it works well, very well. Now yeah, of course it's going quite fast, and we can fix this. Oh my, it's going fast. So let's add some things right here, and I'm gonna use a snap grid rotation just so I can get a little bit better, grip. Now instead of spacing them out randomly, you wanna space it out in a set way, and also do like that, so it's much easier to see what you're doing. Kind of like that. Okay. Now you want to space these out by however much you want. I like to do 3. Go to local, and then just like that, you can have this simple way of doing things. Now we're gonna have 8, just as I remember, and then we're gonna have our button at the end, of course. Yeah, I really wish you could switch between snap grid rotations. That'll be a nice update. Now for this giant mess. How are we gonna fix this? Well, let's first start by just deleting it all. Like, that's literally a first step. Let's add this back to where it's supposed to be. And as you can see, it works pretty well. We still gotta link everything, but that's besides the point. So how do we make it so, it goes off in the other direction when we press the wrong order? Well, we can use respawn parts, and respawn parts are amazing. They're a very useful tool, so if you do something like that, they'll just respawn it. And they're much more efficient. So we're gonna have some of that. And we're gonna move these by 3, just like before. Now we got a bunch of those. Let's link this. Let's link this up first as well. And yeah, do maintain the crisscross pattern. It's very good.
Tell you that the next design is like really bad. Prefer to use your own. Talking about the one which is like the not gate thing. So bye.
Okay, now let's link this up just so it makes sense. There. Now, if we do it in, you know, without the deactivators, yes, yeah, okay. Why is it being Funky Friday? Okay, we're back. Yeah, I did that, so yeah, it works out. Okay, so now we got this working. Why is it still not going? Wow. Okay, that was a little bit cringe. I forgot to sell these to a higher number. Yeah. You don't want a very fast reaction. You want to be as slow as possible while performing the action. So let's do 0.33. We want to make this as short as possible, yeah. So now we're at that point. We have to go in a specific direction in order to complete the puzzle. Just like that, it should work. I don't know what happened. Oh, I forgot to put this push block activated, but you get it, it works. Now we have to figure out a way to make it so if we press the wrong button, it will just disappear. So how do we do this? Now there's something known as a, you know, a order of actions. So we want to figure out what actions should happen when you get something wrong. Now first of all, we wanted this to reset. Then we want the person to get reset back to the beginning. And lastly, we also want the push block over here to get reset. So we're first gonna add at the end a way to make the person respawn. So we're gonna put out something, a giant wall like this, and put a visible timer for 0.5. Now there's gonna be this giant respawn part over, just like so, which respawns the player whenever they get something wrong, so the player can try again. So if you do that, and then link this up right here. Now of course we need to make this invisible, so logic happens. And now we got something to work with. Now we had to add a conveyor. Now you might be saying, why don't we use, you know, one of these? Well, the thing about else gates on this is because this is in order, and this depends on momentum. We don't care about momentum here, and we don't care about speed. We just care that it gets done. So we should only use conveyor for these actions. Now you might be considering to make the conveyor as small as possible, and don't make it as small as possible because there will be problems in the future. So make it a little small, but not too small. Now after that, you want to put, as I said earlier, a push block. Now this system is quite ingenious, if I do say so myself. And what you want to do is put a giant line. You want to put two ends of this, so they both meet this giant line. Work like that. Now what happens if the person gets it wrong? Now we want, you know, this to be just like that. Now instead of doing it for specific ones, we want to do it for all. So if we just do it like that, if one of these comes off, nothing happens. But if multiple come off, something does happen, and it starts to tilt in that direction. Now this might seem a little, you know, weird, and it is. Now remember how many buttons are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 buttons in total, and we got 8 buttons here. See where I'm coming from? Now what we're going to do is link this to over here. Now we're going to do 2 of these buttons for each. And we're going to do in the order of where this is going. So as we can see, this it does the second one, And we want to do all the ones before that, so we gotta do this. Just do the same for this. Wait, did I do something wrong with this? Wait, I'll link this all up and I'll tell you if you haven't made mistakes. Oh yeah, I forgot. I have to make this computer a little faster. At 100. And then we also want to put a no, not actually, that's for a different time. So nothing happens, but if we go in the wrong direction, no, that won't work out. And we're gonna put a button right here. Yeah, we want to put multiple of these. I'll put multiple of these at different times. And this is for literally each one. So we don't have to put a separate one for each. So as you can see, this works out pretty well. We only got one push block. And next we're gonna put a button right there. And this will reset all of it. For 1 second. Push block activated. All of this. Now you might be really confused, and it looks like no logic, but think about it this way: if you get 4, just like that, it'll activate. I mean 5, yeah, 5. Then it'll just go wrong. So we need to put 1 on each side, and make it unbalanced when you get it wrong. Now the problem with this section right here is that it has this one is 2 at the same time, so this might not work as well as I hoped it would. But basically what you want to do is do something like that, 4 on one side, and then you want to put another one. And yeah, we have to link all this up, and this is a giant mess. Now just like that, we saved so many buttons. Just like that. Now this will take a while to graph out. And it requires a specific algorithm. This algorithm is so complex though, so yeah, bear with me if it goes a little bad. I'm hoping this works out. If you try this yourself, it might not work, because we did it in the wrong order. And yeah, this solution is very efficient. And that's how you can just decrease your button count by a lot. For example, in this case, we did it by 8. I mean 6, yes. Now for these ones, you want to just do all of them, or just do full 5. Now you might be wondering about the reset thing. Now I'm thinking about it, we can actually put it back here, so we don't use as much space, and yeah, that's another nice solution. There, we got it. So let's start this from the beginning. Now imagine we do this in the wrong order. Oh yeah, I forgot, we didn't link everything. I'll be back. Now, of course, this isn't perfect because it's a little off because I didn't do it completely correct. Now we got all these rows. Now that you can definitely do this on one row, but the button link limit would rise, and that's not very good. So this is why it's going like this. So let's see what happens if we go in the wrong order. Okay, there. Now perhaps I need to activate this for a little bit longer so the push block has more time to react to that. And also because of this, you have to do it a little bit faster. And if you go really slow, it won't work out. So that's another problem. Yeah, I didn't do it the best way, but you get the point. This is much more efficient. And this is how engineering works. You have to make things very efficient. Yeah, sorry for the very long video. I didn't really have a script for this. I just did freestyle. And that's not a very good way to do things, but yeah, it still worked out in the end. If you have any questions down below, yeah, just comment down below. Yeah, I'm quite busy this weekend, so yeah, Odd Review is gonna get delayed again. I don't know why. It's just, yeah. I also got the vaccine, which apparently makes you tired. And yeah, I can only record stuff in the morning, or else I'll become really tired, and it's not very good. So yeah, bye. I hope this video actually goes well. I don't mess it up. Yeah, bye.
Lego my ego.